What's going on, you guys? This is New York Adventure 1994 here, and today is Wednesday, September 6th, 2023, and we have a new hurricane to keep an eye on. It is Hurricane Lee. This thing was Tropical Depression 13, and then yesterday it became Tropical Storm Lee, and now it rapidly intensified into Hurricane Lee. It is now a Cat 1 hurricane with 75-mile-an-hour winds. And we really have to watch this thing, because this thing could impact the east coast of the United States, or the island, or Bermuda, or Atlantic Canada. This thing is expected to intensify into a Cat 4 major hurricane. Models are picking up as a 180-mile-an-hour storm, and there is a potential where it could become a Cat 5 with 180-mile-an-hour winds. And that is extremely strong hurricane, major hurricane. This thing definitely has the potential of becoming a Cat 5 hurricane. There's that potential where it could be. We really have to watch the thing. If you guys live in the island, or the East Coast, or the Atlantic Canada, or Bermuda, you need to be on high alert and make sure you guys are prepared. You guys have a week's time to get prepared for this thing, because this is a very serious storm right here. Lee is not a storm to be messed around with. You really have to prepare for this thing if the impacts are possible. You really have to get prepared. You have a week's time to be prepared. But right now, I'm not saying it's going to hit anybody so far. We still have a week to go. This is like 7 days out before its real impacts. But we really need to watch this thing and see where it goes. I'm not saying it's hitting anybody just yet. It's still too early out. I'm not trying to rule anything out right now, but it's smart to be prepared until it's too late. Either get prepared or it becomes too late for you. So yeah, we really have to watch this thing. So yeah, if you're on the east coast of Florida through Atlantic Canada, you really need to watch this thing. Because this thing is expected to grow in size into a Cat 4 hurricane, or a 5. And this pattern is showing that there could be a ridge of high pressure on the east side of the storm, and a trough on the west side of the storm. And there are two scenarios. If the trough is strong enough and offshore, and if the ridge is weak on the east side of the storm, it could send the storm out to sea, best case scenario. But scenario 2 is that if the trough doesn't come sooner enough, or the high pressure gets strong, it could impact New England or Atlantic Canada. And I really hate to say it, guys, but we could be looking at another Hurricane Sandy. We could be looking at another Hurricane Sandy. I really hate to say that, but this is what could happen. We could be looking at a strong hurricane in the Northeast if the scenario 2 comes true. The model is showing really bad stuff right now with this thing. I know it's too far out, but I would still prepare. But no matter what the models are showing, 200 hours out, I don't really believe anything until it gets closer to the time that we have to be prepared fully. So yeah, I don't really believe what the models are saying 200 hours out, like whether or where it makes impacts 200 hours out, but it's smart to be safe than sorry. But there is a lot of people that get overexcited about models 200 hours out, and it's like one model run showing a hurricane hitting their area. And some people are like, that's it, we're getting a hurricane next week. That's not the way to look at models, guys. That's BS. It's only one model in one run showing that, because it could change a lot. You gotta stay confident when you look at weather models and not just overthink and assume that one model is showing a hurricane hitting its area and that's the forecast. It doesn't work like that, guys. A lot could happen in a week's time. And a lot could happen with this storm in a week's time. We just have to keep an eye on it, that's all, and make sure we're getting prepared. But if this thing makes landfall in New England, we could be looking at another Hurricane Sandy or Gloria. We could really be looking at another Sandy or a Gloria. Lee could be the next Hurricane Sandy after 11 years. Or it could impact the land of Canada. It depends on that pattern they're showing between the high pressure ridge and that trough. Hopefully, best case scenario stays out to sea and doesn't affect anyone, but there's a lot to picture right now with this storm. So we really have to watch Hurricane Lee. This thing is expected to grow in size. This storm is expected to be taken pretty seriously. This is a very serious situation right here. It could hit the southeast, it could hit the northeast. We really have to watch this thing. Hopefully Long Island doesn't have to suffer another Sandy. Or it gets to the point where I have to evacuate Long Island. And I pray it doesn't come down to that situation. We really have to pray for this thing to stay away from us. But don't worry, guys. It's still too early. I'm not ruling anything out. I don't believe what the models are saying just yet when it's over 200 hours out. I know some people believe it, but I don't until the actual impact show. I go by what the National Hurricane Center says, not anything else. So yeah, Hurricane Lee has to be watched. It could become a Cat 4 or Cat 5 hurricane. It could impact the islands. It could impact the East Coast. It could impact Bermuda. We have to watch this thing. So yeah. And by the way, regardless of landfall or not, we could still see some rip currents on the eastern seaboard. So get prepared for that. So I guess that's it. Bye.